PHP, we are here live from Glendale, California, and I have a friend of mine here with me, Tom Hopkins, who just flew in an hour ago to spend some time with us here at PHP. Tom, thank you for joining us.
Patrick, it's a thrill.
Yes, absolutely. And this is very interesting how this whole thing works out. Where I'm going through my book. This is when I attended your seminar, one of them back in 2003, the Sales Mastery Seminar. It was in Arizona. And when I first got involved in Bally Total Fitness back in 1999, my supervisor, Robbie Solomon, said the first book you got to read in sales is How to Master the Art of Selling. And it was your book as a rookie salesman. And years later now, sitting with the man who just 2 weeks ago was in Italy doing a seminar and then gets invited to have dinner with Veronica and Andrea Bocelli at their home. How was that experience?
Oh, I mean, it was unbelievable. I would have never dreamed, because I've always loved Andrea Bocelli and his fabulous singing, and the person that brought us there had the opportunity to say, hey, they'd love to have you for dinner. And so it was a real treat. Had a chance to do something I never dreamed I'd be able to do. But I think that's what happens when you are willing to pay the price to achieve your goals and dreams, and are willing to do what's necessary to achieve a high degree of accomplishment, which I think it's all there for anybody who's willing to do that. It's available.
Now, Tom, let me ask you, did Bocelli at all sing for you a little bit?
Oh,
did
yes.
Did he try to, show off his voice a little bit?
In fact, that was part of it. He would have had about 50 guests that had come from all over the world. And, oh yes, he put on a performance. I have some footage and stuff I'm going to be sending you, because I know you'd love to enjoy it. But yeah, it was a treat. He's a very nice man, a very humble man, and had a wonderful way of expressing himself. His wife Veronica, not only a beautiful woman, but the dinner was outstanding, and it's one of those nights in a lifetime that I will never forget, and I will cherish and relive many, many times.
Well, the entire world knows you as the Tiger Woods of teaching sales. I mean, I can tell you there are a lot of people that like to claim the sales trainer, but I have not met one person yet who knows how to teach sales by the how-to fundamentals. It's a lot of motivation, but the material you taught, I've been able to use from the moment I met it. I learned the information and applied it into my business. That's helped out tremendously. And our folks, they're very excited to see you here, convention a couple months from now in Las Vegas. And when he and I were speaking earlier, Tom, you told me that the average one-day seminar that you have is $399 when you put the events together. And what we're doing with this event is your registration is going to be, depending on when you get registered, $175 to $200 to get registered for that event. And it's going to be one full day they're going to spend time with you on Thursday from 9 to 5.
Well, and what I'm thrilled about is when I have that much time, I mean, that's a lot, that's 8 hours. I can not only go in great depth into the psychology of what I'm teaching, but into the emotional aspects that allow the folks to say, I see why we say that, why we don't say that, the importance of really knowing your presentations. And of course, what I'm excited about too is spending all the time with you, analyzing everything you teach in your training, customizing this workbook. We're going to have a workbook that is just like coming as a script from what every person at the table should say, especially those folks that are on maybe the fence as to, do I want to become a person with PHP? Do I want to, now that I'm doing well, become a marketing director and move to the next level? And these are all the things we're going to cover in great depth.
I'm excited about it. And one of the things we talked about is how much of the presentation is going to be customized towards PHP alone. And for some of you that know, I mean, if you go into our playbook, if you go to page 103 in the playbook, you will see this picture. I'm sure Paul's put it up. You see the first book on the top left book recommendation. You see How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. The presentation will be customized towards us, and many of you have learned, whether it's the needs, alternative choice, tie down, and all of those things. I asked Tom to take a bit of a approach of teaching the fundamentals, as well as talking about, you know, the side of, you know, how was it when you first got started? Why is it, if you don't know the claim of fame of what Tom did, Tom sold 365 homes in 1 year back in 1960. How do you do that, Tom, 365 in 1 year?
Well, everything was right. I learned how to delegate authority, and I think that's something most people aren't aware of, that you need to do what you do best to earn the greatest income for you and your family. Then you need to hire and have the right people you delegate authority to. And so I had a wonderful team. I then, of course, also had everything fall in place. Interest rates dropped drastically. I had a backlog of referrals, which I think that is another key to success, is the art, and it is an art form, of getting the qualified referred leads done properly that'll help you build your business, where the prospecting is gone after you learned how to build referrals. So that's kind of what happened, and it was, I worked, of course, that's another thing I gotta say. I worked 7 days a week my first 3 years.
7 days a week.
I had Christmas days totally off because I felt spiritually that was important to me. But I worked every single day, and the reason I say that is many people want the wealth and abundance without paying the price of time and effort. But if a person will commit 2 to 3 years of time and effort, and that's one thing I'm going to be really talking about. We all have 86,400 seconds in a day. No one has any more, no one has any less. People that achieve the highest degree of accomplishment and wealth know how to invest those 86,400 seconds properly, which is called time planning and organization. And I'm going to spend an hour on how do you take these seconds and invest them toward the end of a certain period, your revenue, your income is coming to you.
And when you sold the homes, the 365 homes, you were in your 20s when you sold the 300.
I was 24.
24 24 years old, selling 365, where everybody across the country found out about this. And you know, you started going around telling your story on how you did that. And by the way, this transitions me into what we were saying earlier, is the typical things that we have all learned, most of us have learned in PHP, the leaders have. I've asked for him to emphasize a lot on closing. We're going to talk a lot about closing. We're going to talk a lot about referrals that are specifically tailored to PHP. You were saying you have a system on how to be best in referrals. It's a process you use. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
See, the average person doesn't have a formula to get good qualified referred leads. So I have a formula. It's a 6-step process. And if you prepare the people properly, if you do what I ask you to say at the table, they're going to not only want to give you qualified referred leads, but they're going to almost feel obligated to help you build your business because you've done such a great job for them. And it's, again, all in the words you say. And you know, I don't know if I told you this, Patrick, but years ago a man came to my seminar, and he came up afterwards and he said, "Tom, thanks to what you've taught me to say to people, I'm the highest income earning person in my whole company of 350 people. And I got to tell you, do you know what you really are?" I says, "Well, I'm a sales trainer, a motivator." He goes, no, you're a wordsmith." He said, "You know, Tom, a blacksmith takes a piece of steel and with heat makes it into a horseshoe. Then a jeweler takes a piece of gold and melts it down, puts it into a form, and makes a gorgeous piece of jewelry." Well, what you really do with people is teach them how to say the right words to not only satisfy the needs of the person across the table or desk from you, but how you end up having them so happy to say yes and do business with you. And it's an art form, but what I've learned over the years is anyone can learn it if they, first of all, are willing to become a good student of the art form of communication, the student of the art form of closing the sale, which is something that most people in our business cannot teach. You know, Patrick, had I not closed 365 homes, which had never been done ever, had I not done that, I couldn't sit down and write what to say to people because I hadn't done it. And mine is not, you know,
There's a lot of
theory.
the opposite, by the
Oh,
way.
I
There's a
know,
lot
I
of
know
theory.
there
There's
is.
not a lot of yours is
theory.
example on what you did.
Examples,
Yeah.
and what I love the fact that you and I are spending hours of us discussing, writing. I'm sending you scripts, you're sending them back. Tom, let's tune that up. Because we want this manual. When they walk out of that darn convention with me, I want them to say, I have everything I need to become a marketing director, to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if we make that happen, then it's a win for you, for the company, for myself. Because as an educator, a teacher, the real payment is to the positive effect you have on the people that take your training.
That's so true. Guys, I'm a byproduct of Tom Hopkins. Literally, I'm a byproduct of Tom Hopkins. I started in Bally's my first month and a half. I couldn't sell a membership if I tried. I got the book. I learned a few basic tips. I went from there to being a rookie of the month, rookie of the year. Then I got into the business of financial services, went to the seminars, always invested my money into it, and my life completely changed by learning these basic, simple, fundamental things that he shares with everybody out there if you put it to use. So here's what I would say to everybody that's watching us. We are right now, the convention is going to be February 24th to the 28th, are those the days? And the 25th, I think, is the Thursday, is when we're doing the event. Thursday, 9 to 5. Right before him, it'll be Joe Jordan going in the morning, 8 to 5, then 9 to 5. For those of you that are not registered yet, be sure to get registered because there will be limited seating on this. This event's going to sell out very quickly on Thursday because folks are inviting their entire real estate offices, their entire sales offices. They're inviting their folks to come to the event to see PHP as well as learn from Tom Hopkins. And for $200 compared to a $399 for one day to spend time with Tom and get a customized workbook, I would challenge every single person to get anybody, yourself, your spouse, everyone to the event that we're having coming up over the next few months. And on top of that, for those of you that get 35 registration that go to the convention with us, we'll be able to get a private picture taken with Tom Hopkins. I have an old picture with Tom Hopkins. First time I met you, I was 24, 25 years old. And I'll never forget that picture. And it's done me very well by having implemented the stuff I've learned from you. So Tom, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm thrilled. I'm just so pumped. And I'll be preparing, I'll be working hard to make sure that we give you everything you not only want, but everything you need to become the person of your dreams. And that makes us very happy.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, my friend.
Folks, we'll see you soon. Take care.
PHP!